Okay, this is my first non-live episode in a while. I don't want to chat going while I have the most controversial guest of Raider Nation going. I don't want people asking, "Hey, Marcus, would you see that overthrow from Derek? Or what'd you think of that?" I don't want to have that. Don't want to do that. That's fine. We want to get a nice recorded. I'll ask all the questions, Raider Nation. I will ask the burning questions. Raider Nation, don't worry. So I have Marcus Johnson from Tape Don't Lie here. You're with SB Nation, correct?
Yes, SB Nation, Silver Black Pride.
SB Nation. And before we get into it, I will say you have 2 full seasons of Tape Don't Lie. Is that correct?
2 full seasons of Tape Don't Lie, yeah.
Okay. So, and you guys, so we were 8-8 last year. So you're over 500 as a podcast, as am I.
To be honest, yeah, I didn't even think about that, bro. We're over 500.
Over 500. Oh, I bet that's all I think about. as the Raiders. I'm 3-0. I'm not wearing my brown hat, but my brown hat for game days is 3-0.
Okay.
We're here. But no, in seriousness, Tape Don't Lie has been a great reference for myself, and I'm sure for many Raider fans. I think Raider fans' collective IQ has gone up. I will say it, wasn't great to begin with. I'm just going to say that, but it's gone up. And I will say this, like, did you think at first when you guys started that, you're like, man, does anyone really give a shit about all 22? Like, because I do, but I can imagine a lot of Raider fans don't. But when I see your guys' numbers, it's like, holy shit, fans care.
Yeah, I think it was interesting how we kind of blew up a little bit. Like it's pretty shocking. I think me and BD just did it for fun. Like we were like, hey man, we like watch tape, let's do it. And then we got like 1,000 views the first episode. I was like, what the hell is going on? And then it just kind of took off from there. And then I did the double check down thing, and then it just
yes, that is true. That's right. I remember you came on my show like shortly after that. That was funny. So yeah, that's all that's great. And now I will say this: you are used to, as am I. You are used to pivoting to the Senior Bowl at this point almost, right? Like at this time, especially now that we had an extra week, you'd think the Raiders are hardly ever in it in the last week. So I'd say with the last couple weeks of the season, we're all thinking about picks 13 through 16 in the draft, how they're gonna align to see if we could somehow get a guy, that to fall to us that we still don't take. But now we're in a weird spot. We have meaningful football to care about. And I want to get in your head about, as a fan, because you guys do a lot of technical film aspect. As a fan, walk me through that 4-hour game in your head. Where did you go? Where were the highs? Where were the lows emotionally for you?
So, there was a lot of emotion as a fan. So I tried not to tweet that game. I was like, I'm not going to tweet.
It's tough.
Right? I was like, I'm going to watch this game. I'm not going to tweet because I'm not going to try to get into the whole Twitter thing. I'm just going to watch it. Right. And when I was watching that game, man, there were so many emotions, especially when they went up 29-14 after that pick, man. Oh, bro, you knew I was ready. I had the receipts ready. I was about to pull some old Herbert stuff. I was ready, getting prepared. Yeah. And then he decided he what I was texting people, he decided to actually do it. Mm-hmm. So and then my emotions were like, oh my God, they're really not going to make the playoffs. They're really going to blow. They're really going to get to 29-14. And they're really going to blow this. And I'm going to have to hear how great Justin Herbert is and how he had the greatest comeback and how he's John Elway. He's Elway. I was got to hear how he's Elway for all year. But they saved that from me. And I'm kind of happy about that. So it was crazy emotions, bro. It was awful, bro. I was like, I had COVID. So I was getting over at that point in time. I feel like I kind of brought it back Monday morning for a little bit, but it's gone again. But this just the energy and everything that you felt from that game, man, it was crazy, bro. So
it's like they were up 29-14. They're up 15 points, and in my head, my dad, it's funny the way I text my dad's a Rams fan. He's a very negative Rams fan, and he'll be like, we both are positive about the other team. I'm positive about the Rams. I'm like, Rams got this, dude. Don't even trip. And he'll be like, he texted me at 29-14, hell of a win. I said, I literally was like, stop. Like, it's not. I was like, it's not. Then they get the touchdown, right? They get the touchdown. I'm like, hey, stop. Like, don't, see what I'm saying? Like, it happened hella fast. And then he's like, nah, Herbert turnover. Nope. Zips it in 4th and 21. And here we are, right? Well, here we are. They win in overtime. So let us start before we preview the Bengals. What is this running game I've been seeing for the last couple of weeks? What is it? I don't understand. When does it just come alive like a Frankenstein type thing? How does it happen?
I think Josh Jacobs decided he wanted to trust the line. The line was terrible, for a long time. And then Josh Jacobs, he decided that I'm going to do whatever I'm going to do to try to get some yards. And I think that he was hurting the line when it got better, because I think they were playing better than the stat or whatever PFF was saying. They were playing a lot better than that, but it was Josh Jacobs kind of just not seeing holes, not trusting them, not hitting holes like he usually does. And I don't know what happened in that Broncos game. There's this play where he had a big run. He looks at Peyton Barber and he's like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know if Peyton Barber said anything to him, but after that first half of that Broncos game, I don't know what happened, but he's been 2019 Jacobs ever since.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Man, it's crazy.
Because for a while it looked like he had 2019, whenever it was a one-on-one situation with Jacobs and any player, I'm like, well, he's going to make that guy miss. You know what I mean? One way or another. I never saw that this year. Guys will just stick into him. There's a good Twitter user that I've talked sports with a lot. His name's Ryan the Lion. And he says, he was telling me he's not a Raider fan. He's just a sports gambler. So I love hearing the unfiltered takes from what they think of Raider players. And he's like, dude, I love Jacobs, but where did this Le'Veon Bell style running come from, where he tiptoe, but he doesn't have that burst to where you can do that. And I feel like he just started becoming just a regular running back, which is what we need him to be. Just be you're big, you're strong, you're physical. You need to just be a regular running back. When you see something, just go. Get 7 yards for me. That's all I need for you. I don't need 25 yards. I mean, hey, it helped us eventually to get, I believe it was set up to get 25 yards, because for a while it didn't look like we could run on the Chargers. The only team that couldn't for a while. I said, what is this? 2 games. I'm like, we cannot, these guys turned into the 85 Bears against us. I don't understand it. But going to play a game at Cincinnati, it's going to be cold. I think 27 degrees. I would imagine there'll be some wind. So the Daniel Carlson situation could get interesting there. Exactly. And you're going to have to run. You're going to have to run early. You're going to have to run often. And I believe both teams are going to have to. So do you feel confident going into Cincy to be able to run on them?
Yeah, I feel confident about that. Especially, it's more because I've seen Jacobs for 3 weeks in a row, and he is a totally different guy. Because even what you're mentioning, even if somebody, because the Raiders, I mean, their offensive line is shaky. So sometimes Andre James is going to get blown up in the run game. And sometimes, even John Simpson, Colton Miller, they all get blown up a little bit sometimes. Oh, yeah. And what's happening now is that, that guy's coming, and Josh is making that guy miss. And then he's getting 7. So that's the difference now a little bit too, between before and early in the season and late in the season. So early in the season, he's getting tackled right away. He's not making that guy miss. Now he's making that guy miss, and then he's getting 10 yards. It's because that's exactly what happened on that play before they kicked the field goal to win the game. Yeah, is that a guy shot the gap and he made that guy miss, and then he got upfield and got 10 yards, and they're kick a field goal, and we go home. Maybe made the playoffs. So if he keeps running like that, man, it's gonna be tough for the Bengals, because they're gonna have to match that. And the Bengals, they don't want to run the ball anymore. They think they're the Chiefs. So.
Interesting. Yeah, interesting to see this, because if I don't know if I've ever seen someone more critical of Joe Burrow than you, and I think that's maybe the one time I've ever maybe disagreed on a quarterback, at least strongly. I'm like, hey man, I like this guy. I like him. I always have. Are you eating a little crow, or do you think you think there's a failure coming for him?
Joe has moxie. Okay, so he has moxie, right? He's got swagger, right? He has that, right? He has the swagger and the confidence of a superstar quarterback. Okay, now it's just always the arm. Okay, so and it's windy this game, and I don't know how far he's gonna be able to throw that football. Sure. Even the Chiefs game, Jamar Chase went off. Okay, so Jamar Chase at 266, and he's throwing the ball with Jamar Chase. He's good throwing those back shoulders to him, but there's a couple times where he got some pass interference on some ugly floaters. Right. Okay? They're the last drive when they took the lead against the Chiefs. They had some ugly, really bad pass interference calls. It's a really bad penalty. One of them, he underthrew T. Higgins so much that the corner tried to move T. Higgins to get to the football, and they called pass interference for him trying to move the guy to get to the interception. So, but the Raiders got to get those. If he throws a floater and he throws a short, you got to pick it off. You can't miss it because the next time he might hit it, and he's found a guy that he actually has good timing with to throw deep balls, which is Jamar Chase. So, Burrow has moxie, but he is very beatable. He's not Justin Herbert. Like Herbert is annoying because they'll check down on you all day, and he won't care. Like, oh, yeah, I got a cannon, but you're gonna give me a check down. I'm going to take it.
Yep.
Burrow's not gonna take that. He's gonna be like, okay, that's cool, but where's my? I'm gonna roll out or something, or I'm gonna try to do that. And the way he holds the ball in the pocket and the sacks he takes, and he could fumble too, and he makes mistakes under pressure. That's where you got to get him. You got to make sure that you take away his first read. And so when they play cover 3, they play behind it. So that's why, like last time he only had 148 yards and he struggled. He did. They didn't play good offense last time. Like, I mean, they ran the ball well, right? But Corey Littleton's not playing anymore. So
neither is Jonathan Abram. Neither is Jonathan Abram. It's very interesting how many fewer big plays happen against the Raiders when those two aren't playing.
Exactly. But so it's interesting in that way how this dynamic of this game is going to be, because I don't think that he's patient enough like Herbert is against cover 3 to pick them apart. So
it is a good matchup. I think that, and I mean, that's why you don't play for the tie. I mean, at the end of that, I mean, at least until Brandon Staley decided it wasn't going to be a tie, whatever, that's why you don't, because I mean, Kansas City, I wouldn't even be excited about the Kansas City game.
Oh my God.
That was happening. I'd already be like, hey, just happy to be here, guys. Thanks. Don't embarrass me. But, I wouldn't be happy about it. But you're right. I'm looking back at that 4th and 21, or even that 4th down to Mike Williams, where I thought they were going to win the game when Mike Williams hit that post and or in the seam and just broke some tackles and went out. I don't know that Burrow has the zip like on that 4th and 21 to split that zone. I don't know that that's going to be there, especially in the cold. I mean, we played indoor against Herbert, and you don't get that from Burrow. So that's interesting. Now, what I will say is that I don't, it is a good matchup for us because you don't really have to play man against the Bengals wide receivers, right? I mean, it wouldn't make sense to. I don't want to see a lot of Brandon Faison on, Jamar Chase straight up. You don't want to see that. So it does match up well with our defense, and the Bengals don't have the best offensive line. So truly, if you keep Mixon in check and you make Burrow have to, you don't really have to make him push the ball down the field. If you just allow him to play his game, you could create turnovers. Now, the fact is the Raiders cannot tip balls to wide receivers, and you have to catch the ball when they throw it to you. I was shocked when Casey Hayward caught the ball on that turnaround interception. Not anything against Casey Hayward, but I'm like, dude, we caught one. That's fantastic. And it didn't result in an offensive play, player catching the ball. They have to capitalize on these mistakes. And I think we're in for a really good game on Saturday.
Me too. Talk about the interceptions. I feel like Trayvon Moehrig could have 7 this year. Literally could have. I
love him too. I love him. He's always there, but man,
if he could catch the ball, he literally could have 7. Like I'm trying to think of all the times that he could have some picks, man, and he's always there. Right? Yeah. Even the Chargers one who had the Roger Teamer got the holding. He dropped that one, and that was like a pick 6, right? That would end the game.
That's funny on fourth down too. Yeah.
You would have a pick 6 and end the game, and he dropped it, but it was 4th and the holding. So it'll be interesting to see how he plays too, because I expect him when they're playing cover 3 just to shade to Jamar Chase's side, because or please do that, because Jamar Chase, even if they're playing cover 3, he might get over the top. So
and it's interesting too. I'm not sure if it's going to happen, but I don't know why else you bring the guy off IR. Nicholas Morrow might return. Why do you bring him off if you don't plan on playing him, right? Like at least you don't even make that move. You bring him back. That we don't know what shape he's in right now. We don't know that, but like I want to talk about this guy too, for a fact that a lot of people are like, what does this mean for Denzel Perryman? Good things is what it means for Denzel Perryman, because he doesn't have to play coverage as much. That's good. Yeah. That's good that you want. Denzel Perryman cannot cover. It's okay. He makes plays. He plays his ass off. Fantastic trade that Mayock made to get him here. Great against the run. We're going to need him against the run.
100%.
But Morrow coming back, I think that's only going to be good things if he's back out there, because those zones just close up a lot quicker with him out there.
Exactly. And Morrow, I mean, that's what he's good at. He's not really good against the run. He's awesome in coverage. And then Diablo gets better in coverage every week. I mean, I was so excited. That one play where Herbert got sacked and, got him out of field goal range, it's not talked about a lot, but Diablo, he shut down Eckler on that wheel route. And right? And it was just sweet watching him just run with the running back with ease and play linebacker. And he's not playing bad against the run. He's getting good. So having him and Moore out there on third down, I think it's going to make a big difference, especially in the cover 3 system. I know Morrow is going to be breaking on balls quick and stuff, especially if he's feels healthy enough that they took him off IR. I was shocked by that. Like, I was like, wow, that came out of
because
nowhere.
I'd asked the week before. I was like, does anybody like remember he was like supposed to come back after a couple of weeks of the season? I remember, and it was kind of a Richie Incognito situation where it just never happened. But you get to him back, and I think one thing a lot of Raider fans, there's been a narrative against this other defender who's I think is having one of the best Raider defensive seasons since Khalil Mack. I probably the best defensive season since Khalil Mack is Maxx Crosby. I mean, you're talking pressures. He's high among the highest in the league. He might be number 1, if I'm not mistaken, depending on the site that you're at, or what you're using. I thought PFF had him at number 1. Now PFF will qualify it saying Sam Monson will say that he faced the worst right tackles of all time out of anybody. Like he just constantly lucks out against. But hey, most teams' right tackle sucks, Sam. I don't know what to tell you. Like you don't typically have 2 good tackles on a team. It just doesn't happen. Like
exactly.
You have one guy. And I mean, nobody's saying that when somebody plays Brandon Parker. You don't hear about you don't hear about facing the worst right tackles. You hear about he ate on Brandon Parker. Yeah, of course, right? So so pressures, right? This is a philosophical thing. Pressures. I love the slogan that you pay for pressures, right? And you don't pay for sex, right? You don't pay for that because you're seeing some guys will be schemed up to have open rushes that result in sacks, playing in good coverage schemes. Then you pay them to come to your not so good coverage scheme. They don't get sacks anymore, right?
Exactly.
Maxx Crosby, that translates, and especially with the soft zone being played behind him, with a lot of checkdowns being allowed, to get the amount of pressure that he's done, to affect the amount of bad passes that's happened. I mean, he caused an interception. He deflected another pass on a rollout that was. The guy was wide open. And I believe that was a red zone play. And then also had 2 huge sacks, right? And a couple big plays in the run game. First off, it's a no-brainer that they have to pay him, right? I mean, they have to pay him coming up. But also, like, what do you think about people just wanting sacks only and a results only fans? That always fascinates me.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like the total yards and stuff like that. I mean, we're trained by the media and ESPN and stuff that sacks. I mean, pressures is a new thing, to be honest. I mean, that's really a PFF stuff. I mean, a lot of these analytics that we use now that we consider normal are what PFF kind of created back in 2010. 2011, right? Even the way we look at offensive linemen. I mean, I don't think Andre Whitworth would still be in the league if PFF didn't exist. So so now we're moving into a different era of stats, and a lot of people just don't want to move with it. They want to stick to the sacks. But that's how you end up paying Trey Hendrickson, which he's still doing good with the Bengals, but he's not causing the same amount of pressure as somebody as Maxx Crosby is, who's more disruptive and needs more attention. You had the Packers defensive line coach. He was going off about how Maxx is great that Maxx made the Pro Bowl, because it shows that, recognizing that we're seeing that pressures is more important than sacks. And, it really is, because what the difference is like, sure, Maxx is not getting all the sacks this year, right? But if he keeps this pressure up next year, he might have 16, 17.
Yeah.
Right? Because pressures is more of it kind of shows the future of you're going to get sacks eventually, which would happen this past game. So, I mean, he had in the biggest game, he had 2 sacks.
Yeah.
So like, shut up. Who cares?
And destroyed the right tackle so much that the referees decided Storm Norton was allowed to start early. I know everybody saw it. The false starts that Storm Norton was not getting called for. It was insane. I saw him start early on like a 4th down too. I want to say, I'm like, I guess we don't call that, but you cause all that stuff. And also you see this year, I've seen more just bad throws from quarterbacks against the Raiders than I have in the past. I mean, we got everybody's best game last year because there just was no pressure. And I didn't think Maxx was very good last year. No, I'm not a guy who was like, yo, man, this guy, I mean, there's off the field stuff and all that. And he's definitely got his body and mind correct. Like he's at his peak right now, but it's his 3rd year. As a 4th-round pick, he's got to be coming up pretty close to free agency. They don't get long-term contracts. Him and Renfro, I mean, both those guys, to me, it's like I don't care who comes in at coach. What coach doesn't want those two guys?
Yeah, I think Renfro's gonna be kind of cheap though, because he's a slot receiver.
Yeah,
I don't think he's not gonna be like a 20 mil guy.
No, it'd be, I would say like 8 to 10.
Yeah,
8 to 10.
I think they should do Renfro first to get him out of the way, because Max is gonna be expensive. That's gonna be the big load, because I mean he deserves it though.
Yep.
When you have an edge rusher like that, and then you got Malcolm Kuntz, which we don't know his potential. I mean, that could be that could be the tandem.
You guys were right about him. You guys were right about
you know what I'm saying? The tandem between those two. He comes in there, he always just gets pressure. I mean, that's the only thing he can do right now, but it's fine. He can get stronger and he's got time. But if you could build with those two, and then you're gonna eventually let Ngakwe go, right? I mean, they're probably not gonna resign him after 2 years, right? So you got Kuntz and you got Crosby, you got two good edges for a while, right?
And it's so easy to add to that too. If you just want one more guy, you don't need to go pick at the top of the pile in free agency, because you have your number one guy. You don't need to be like, and you have the guy understudy behind him. You could even then try to find just like a veteran, like a 32-year-old rusher, like how the Broncos did with Dwight Freeney. You can do things like that. Bring that guy in, where in the past, every guy the Raiders would sign had to either be the number one wide receiver when clearly they weren't, the number one pass rusher when clearly they weren't. Right?
Exactly.
And the Raiders should pay both of them, because simply we have not paid guys we've drafted. I mean, you'll start to see more normal free agencies, and that's good. Not just them like in panic mode trying to just spend this cap space they have to spend on guys that maybe you don't really pay that much money. And that's great. And pivoting to the game coming up on Saturday, I mean, they're gonna send, if you're a smart team and you want to keep Burrow upright, you are gonna send everything at Maxx Crosby. It should create opportunities. Now, I do wish we had Darius Philo on for this game, because he was unbelievable last game. I do wish, but you're gonna see guys like Solomon Thomas, Damian Square, and these other guys. They're gonna be one-on-one with guys that aren't that good. And there, and that's when you're gonna start to see, I think, the magic of Maxx Crosby is what he creates for everybody else. When Burrow decides to roll out, who's going to be chasing? It's going to be Maxx, right? Maxx is the guy that doesn't quit. So I think a lot of Raider fans, man, I don't know, get off your high horse, because this is a damn good pass rusher.
Yeah. And I think Quentin Jefferson, he has 18 pressures the last 3 games, man. I think he's gonna have a great game too, because the real weakness, I mean, they got some. I don't even know who the tackle is. I was on a podcast for the Bengals. I don't know who that right tackle is. I said his name, but it's not Riley Reef anymore. No, Maxx Crosby ate Riley Reef for lunch. So this other guy, I don't know who. Yeah, have fun. But the guard too. I mean, the guards aren't good, and they got to go.
Harmon and those guys. Yeah.
Jefferson's gonna eat too. So it's gonna be a lot of pressure for Burrow, and they like the long developing plays, but he likes to kind of just throw it up to Jamar Chase too. So we got to hope for some underthrows and hope that ball catches the wind.
That's absolutely. So, okay. Pivot to Derek Carr, because that's all anybody wants to talk about. It was funny because I watched, during that Chargers game, I had said, I was like, I am way more concerned about how this defense plays against Justin Herbert than I am about what Derek Carr does. As long as Derek Carr didn't turn the ball over, I feel like we had a good chance in that game.
Yeah.
And he didn't. He put the ball in harm's way. I'm not saying he didn't, but he did. He got strip sacked. I mean, it did happen. The same thing that happened. Now you probably get attacked, right, for being defensive of Derek Carr, and in defense of the fans attacking you, it is tough to not win in 8 seasons with one quarterback. It is tough. I understand where people come from, where it's like, okay, but we're not winning. Now, I believe that you, like me, have a very realistic. We know his limitations, and it's odd that fans who hate him so much, they don't really know that he just can't be really like elite. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like, they think they're like, well, he's not Brady. I'm like, well, I know he's not Brady. He never will be. Yeah. That's why I kind of like him, to be quite honest. Like, I actually I kind of like the way he plays, because I know that he could be top 7 at times. Sometimes he's bottom 10. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Like, sometimes he has just absolute horrible games. But as far as this season goes, I think this was actually this might have been his best season, dude. Like when you look at what he's had to deal with, you look at the weapons in the playoffs that all these other people have. Burrow, He's got, I mean, if you give Derek Carr that wide receiver trio, holy shit. Like you are looking at, I mean, maybe not an MVP candidate, but you are looking at a guy who is would probably have 30 touchdowns rather than what he has right now. Other teams, you know, they just have all these weapons that he doesn't. And to be fair, Derek Carr lost his weapons in like tragic ways too. It's not like he just didn't have. Zay Jones was never meant to be the number one outside receiver on this team. It was never meant to happen. Wasn't. He lost his tight end late in the season. Injuries happen, but he also has a bad offensive line that almost hasn't pressured half of his snaps.
Yeah.
That being said, you know, yeah, he's made a few mistakes on his own, but I think this is his best season as a Raider when you put in everything together.
Yeah, and even when I watch Derek, you know, a lot of people give me crap for Derek. My thing was when they critique him is I just don't like how they critique him. That's just kind of how my thing this year, because he's not the same. It's not 2018. So if you do the staring receivers and locking down those things, and you say those things, that's what annoys me.
Yeah,
because it's not true. Because most of his problem this year is the hero ball, which pisses me off. Like, you're not Russell Wilson.
That's what fans want. They want him to do that. That's what I hate.
And like, you're not Russell Wilson, and that's what bothers me. Because like, especially early on in the year, it was really bad. Mm-hmm. Like, but I mean, he toned it down a little bit, but you still see it in the fourth, and he's just throwing it up to Zay Jones. The worst one was the Giants game, bro, which pissed me off. I was so mad when it was like first down, and they just got the ball back after something happened. I forgot. I think Daniel Carson missed the field goal, and then they punted. They got the ball back. 2016, first down. He sees a blitz. He wants to do this to Zay Jones, right? He goes like this, is a little X check, and I'm looking at him, watching him like, bro, don't do that. What are you doing? Don't. And he just throws it up. And then Zay Jones can't track the ball, and then it's picked off. And I'm like, come on, bro. Like, just play the game. Do not just manage the game. Just win. Just get out of here. Let's just go win this game. We're the better team. Yeah. We've been struggling. You just calm down. You don't have to go win the game in one throw. Yeah. And that's kind of why we're seeing a lot more turnovers, right? Because he's trying to make plays. You got a guy who's, you know, fumbles all the time. He can't be rolling out and trying to make plays all the time. So it's just as it gets frustrating for me is watching him try to do that stuff, because when he's in control, he's fine. But I think my issue, because I mean, let's be real. I've said things that I don't even want to repeat on this podcast about some Derek Carr throws. Like, I just in time, everybody wants me to stream during games. I'm like, I'm gonna lose my YouTube channel. Seriously, like I've already got mourned for other things. This one might take the cake if you have me live stream during a game. It's not happening. Yeah. But unless like, you know, it'd have to be like being paid or some shit like to do that, because I can't do that. But, you know, that being said, when I step back, I mean, and really just this team as a whole, like what they've come through, because I don't really think they're a terribly talented team, to be quite honest. Like I just what they've achieved with all this, and what I hate is that Derek Carr is a scapegoat for an organizational failure. That's what I hate more than anything. Is that the problem with Derek Carr is that if you cannot at least field a competitive team year in, year out with him, you are not good at building a team. He's the litmus test. He's the guy. He is not a guy he's a guy that anytime you're within 7 points in the fourth quarter, you have a good chance of tying the game or winning the game. He is that guy. Now, do you have the talent around him? No, because in 2 years, and we'll see about Alex Leatherwood, you could even maybe say, you know, if that doesn't end up becoming good, you could say there's 6 first round picks that you essentially missed, especially if you don't value running backs in the first round like I do. Yeah, you know, I don't like that. So if you could say that you missed that, if even 2 or 3 of those are just solid players, you are in a you're talking about a 12-win perennial team right now. If Derek Carr doesn't change a thing, you know what I'm saying? Even if he doesn't, I understand he is not a guy that's going to be like Brady, where he has Jacoby Myers on the outside and all these guys. It's not going to Ken Tompkins. None of that's ever going to happen with him. We know that. But you had a chance. He has a team-friendly contract. You had a chance to build an absolute juggernaut around him. You made actually really good trades pick-wise with Cooper. I mean, you replaced Amari Cooper with Jonathan Abram. You know what I'm saying? Like these are things that happened, and fans acknowledge that, but they want Derek Carr to take that and make magic with it. And we know that's just not what he does. And I think that's where I get mad. Like, yeah, there's throws where I'm like, what are you doing? His Mamba mentality thing. I mean, maybe get into like, you know, Dirk Nowitzki mentality or something. Yeah, get into like, you know, like, you know, Brandon Jennings mentality. It's just not like, maybe just scale it back just a little bit, man. I don't need Mamba mentality
Carr, because that ends up in sack fumbles. That ends up
exactly
interceptions like the one at Cleveland, where Zay Jones is double covered. Maybe one of the worst interceptions I've ever seen him throw. That's Mamba mentality. I don't like that. I want like Jarrett Jack mentality. I want like just good like point guard play out of him. Like just
yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, good point guard play out of him. They set people up. He's very good when they, and a lot of this is Greg Olsen too, right? And like a lot of this is Greg Olsen, because that first drive against the Colts, they pick him apart underneath. I'm like, oh my God, this is beautiful. This is exactly what I want. Nope. Guess what? Let's dial up the deep shots. That worked too well. We need to start pushing
7-0. Let's go up to 14 in one play.
It's literally me in Madden. That's literally Greg Olsen. Like, and that's not good. So like, it's we're definitely not dealing with the best, situation for it in that sense. But that being said, do you think, and I think there's like a 10% chance of this happening, and that's a high chance, Carr becomes 2012 Joe Flacco? I could see it.
There's a chance.
I could see it.
There is.
There's always one quarterback that's like, yo, what is this guy doing in the play? He's out of this world. And it could, with all the fourth quarter comebacks that he's had in his career, it's not out of the question. We've never seen him play in the playoffs. There's a chance where it's like, yo, this dude is wild in the playoff. Like, he's just like not missing anything.
See, that's what I want to see. Because I remember last year somebody asked me if Derek Carr, they can win a Super Bowl with Derek Carr, and I'm like, I don't know. We haven't seen him in the playoffs. I got to see him in the playoffs first. If he comes out here and he balls, right? I mean, he has 29 game winning drives, and just I've done a lot of quarterback studying, and with throughout history, guys that have that stat, they are usually really, really good in the playoffs and when moments when you need them, right? And so that is not a lie. I mean, I know Stafford has it, and he might be the outlier guy, but everybody else who has that stat, even like Tannehill has a whole bunch of fourth quarter comebacks, and then he threw like 5 passes against the Patriots, but that pass 3rd and 8 when they needed it, he hit it. Right. And it's because he's been clutch his whole career. So that he's in the AFC Championship game. Right. Yeah. And I think that might pop up a little bit. It's the game winning drives are just not flukes to me. Like every legendary quarterback has like 45. No. So obviously there's something to it. Like if Dan Marino and Elway and all those guys got 40 something, there's something to that stat. So I don't know. You know what I mean? Like it'll be interesting to watch him play and see what he turns into. Because I'll keep it real. Even the Colts game, man, like the fourth quarter of the Colts game, I don't know who that guy was. Mm-hmm. I've never seen him before. I've never seen that guy before. And that was kind of like when I was like, oh, what's happening, right? When he broke that Brendan Parker tackle. Brendan Parker had his arm. He had his arm. Like he fumbles that like 9 out of 10 times. I'm gonna say 10 out of 10. Yeah, I'm gonna say 10 out of 10. I know exactly. He fumbles that ball, and he was not gonna fumble.
Weird, man.
So I was like, okay, that's interesting. So it'll be interesting to see how he plays, man, in this game. I'm be interested in that. But
and I think the thing that people don't realize about you is that the way they watch Derek Carr under the microscope in the petri dish, you watch every quarterback like that, essentially. at least the quarterbacks that start sizable amounts of games.
Yes,
I'll say that much. Like I'm gonna, maybe you didn't do that to Garrett Gilbert, so maybe you didn't put Garrett Gilbert under the microscope. I hope you didn't, because
I didn't.
I'd have to do a wellness check on you if you did that. But you watch it, like people analyze. I get DMs all the time. They're like, miss Zay Jones there. I'm like, yeah, quarterbacks miss throws. Like they do. All the best ones. Like the best ones. I've seen Mahomes just absolutely miss people. I've seen Mahomes throw it right at linebackers. That the guy must throw cut fastballs like Mariano Rivera. I don't know why they can't catch it, but he throws it right at people. It does happen. I'm not comparing him to those guys. But like I said, if this was a functioning franchise, and now look, they're 10-7, they're in the playoffs right now, so that doesn't even matter, the history. Yeah. But if this was a functioning franchise, the debate we should be having is, can Derek Carr win an AFC Championship game? Can Derek Carr get us to the hump? Do we need to make that big trade? No, like the debate we're having right now is he's a loser. This is why the franchise sucks, is because we keep committing to this bad quarterback. And it's like, okay, I understand maybe wanting to go out there and risk it all and try to go get, Aaron Rodgers and guys like that. Okay, cool. Like, I'm not saying I'd ever turn that down, but I wouldn't trade 2 first-round picks for Russell Wilson to replace Derek Carr on a team-friendly contract next year. I wouldn't do that, because I think people would be very frustrated with the way Russell Wilson would play with Zay Jones and, you know, these guys as wide receivers.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron Rodgers, hell yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, you do it anytime. Like,
anytime.
Yeah.
I mean, they run the same offense, so you would come in here and hell yeah. I would not be mad about that. Like,
I've seen him do it with shitty wide receivers too. I've seen Aaron Rodgers do it with not good wide receivers. Yeah,
you know what I mean. So like Aaron Rodgers would like, I'll be okay, cool. I'll be happy. I love.
Carr would trade himself for Aaron Rodgers. He's like, yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
he's all right, man. I get it. I get it. Like, he kind of got Tom Brady when you had the interview that they went after. Who knows if they went after Tom Brady? We're gonna find out next week. But if you know, even the Tom Brady thing, he was kind of like, yeah, I get it. It's Tom Brady, right? So he's not gonna be too crazy about that. But it's just like kind of replacing with the other guys. Like, I don't know even if that would work, especially with how this team is constructed right now. Like it's just like, because let's use Justin Herbert. Okay, I mean, everybody loves Justin Herbert. Like, you know, people who like Carr, they love Herbert. They always want to tell me, you know, they gargle his nuts. It's kind of crazy to me. I don't know, like, why, like, let's get off his nuts a little bit. I had to tell some guy on my YouTube, like, get off his dick, bro. Like, I straight up,
it's rough.
Get off his dick. But let's look at him, right? I mean, he's thrown like 69 touchdowns in 2 years. He's got all these stats. He's thrown 5,000 yards. He broke the rookie record his rookie year, and he's never made the playoffs. You know, and the reason why is because they can't win around him. The team is not. He's on the Chargers. Yeah. That's so, like, even if you have a great quarterback, right? You can have an elite quarterback and you can waste him. Like, I always talk about Dan Marino. Dan Marino is kind of like my, you know, everybody talks about the elevate people around you guy, right? And, you know, Dan Marino is probably the greatest passer of all time. People will say that, right? Mm-hmm. He went through a stretch. So after 1985, bro. So the Dolphins were a really, really good football team before he got there. They went to Super Bowl 82. They got lucky and drafted him late because he fell because everybody thought he was a weed head or whatever. He was a cocaine.
That man like the party.
Yeah, right. Which he probably did.
How do you pass on somebody for doing cocaine in the 80s? I'd be like, yeah, you're coming to Miami, bro. Let's do it.
Let's go, bro.
Don Johnson, right? We're doing Crockett and Tubbs here in Miami. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Who does that?
Right. So Steve already does it. Come on, bro. Mark Cooper. Like, come on. What are you talking? Sure, you tripping? Like, slide through. Like, yeah, I love it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. So he replaces a quarterback that, you know, they already went to the Super Bowl the year before. He comes in, right, and they start balling, right. And of course, they go to Super Bowl again. But then that team gets old, right, and that team's not good around him still, and they start losing. Like, he's only won like 10 games after 1985 5 times. Yeah, and that's Dan Marino. Mm-hmm. So it's important to like have that the structure around a quarterback, no matter who he is. So like, even if they move on from Derek and we get a new guy, we have to have that structure around him, even because he could be 6'6", 250 with the cannon, and he's moving and he's just doing all these things and he's reading the field well. But, you know, the defense on the side can't stop anybody. Yeah. And he's losing, and he's 9-8 like Justin Herbert. So it's the structure around a quarterback is so important, because you want the structure to look like it's around Joe Burrow, because Joe Burrow is just, he's like, oh man, I just throw it up or I throw a slant. And Jamar Chase makes 8 guys miss, just goes. And then I got a good defense on the other side that could stop you. So it's, you know, its structure is important. That's kind of how I look at it. You know, it doesn't matter who the quarterback is, because I don't know if I feel like in a couple of years they're gonna be talking about how Herbert should pull a Deshaun Watson at this point. Exactly.
It's a very fantasy football thing too. Carr's not a good fantasy football quarterback either. He's not a guy that lights it up. He's not a big stat guy. So there's always that, like, we itemize players. We are in the most individualized player era ever, and I don't see that going away. In fact, I see that enhancing at times, like where it's, you know, you look at the NBA, it's Devin Booker. He's got to get out of Phoenix, bro. Oh my God, he's 21. I'm like, the guy's 21 on a team that like clearly has some talent, and like, it's like, yeah, maybe he doesn't, right? And then they go to the finals last year. Like, it's just very funny, like how that works. Now, let's say, 2 more questions I have for you is I think with the weather, you are going to see the Mariota package again. That's not going anywhere anytime soon. They love rolling it out. I have mixed feelings about it, because I like it. I like the plays. I think they're cool. You've mentioned it on your show that Mariota's just not a read option guy. He never was. So he's doing something that he's not used to doing. But Why is Carr on the field during that play? If you're never ever going to run like some weird like reverse pass thing, which I don't even want to see because Carr fumble. That's the Carr fumble thing. We start getting into weird things if we're flipping it to Carr and then what is he gonna throw to Mariota? That doesn't make any sense. So, what do you think of the Mariota package and why is Carr on the field during it?
I don't know why Carr's in the field during it. I guess it's like as a decoy. We kind of got to look at, kind of keep somebody outside.
I guess.
I don't know why he's on the field. I don't know why, unless they're trying to plan something because they're adding new stuff to it every week. Okay, so like the reverse to Waller, like this week they put Mariota at running back and put Jacobs as the quarterback, and then they handed it off to Mariota and then he flipped it to Waller, which I thought was dangerous. I'm like, God, we're doing an exchange between a quarterback and in a playoff game. Like I thought that was crazy. But I think the other one that kind of doing some kind of maybe a throwback to Derek, something like that. I think something like that might work. Like where you kind of like, Derek's just kind of sitting there, he goes to the backfield and you throw it to him, and then like Derek kind of throws it from where he's at. I think something like that would work. But I think with Mariota, right? There's this play, the first one that they run. Okay. The second one on the end zone. I don't know if I showed you this, but they have like an RPO set up out of it now, right? And Foster Moreau was wide open and he gave it to Richard. And I was thinking, like, why did you give it to him? He's like, this team has never seen, like, I've never seen this. The Chargers have never seen it. They're keying on you.
Yeah.
Right. And like, I don't know, he doesn't that exchange well. And
so there was a pass option. You can confirm that? Because a lot of fans are going, why don't we ever let him pass out of that?
Oh my God, that one. That was an RPO. Okay, right? I mean, he had because Foster Moreau runs a corner route, so he runs a corner route. He's wide open, like there's no one around him. Yeah. Like he literally could have just went like this. I could have threw that pass to him. Literally, I literally could have, right. But he handed the ball off because I think he saw Joey Bosa. Like, bro, but you know the play though. Like even if Joey Bosa comes, just like throw it over his head, right? So he's just not good at reading those. And even a couple of them, like
the first play, I thought the first play he kept it.
Oh, that was 30 yards to Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, and exactly. You see up the middle, there's nothing. Like it's just like, and the end doesn't crash, so that's just a bad read, right? Like we know that if you play Madden NCAA football, you understand. That's one where I know about that play. I didn't play football, but I know that if that defensive end just stops, hand the ball off. Yeah. Like it was very interesting. So
yeah, but he's more of an outside guy. So if you do the arc read, he works. But one thing I want to see them do with him is the Josh Allen stuff, where they do the pin pull sweeps, where he has two guys in front of him. Because that's what they did in Tennessee. In Tennessee, when he scored in the red zone, they did the pin pull sweeps, and he would just just run, and he wouldn't have to read anything. But they think he's Lamar Jackson for some reason. They're just labeling him.
Like I said, I like it because I do. One of Carr's limitations is just not really extending plays. I mean, actually, I think he's been good at it lately, but he's not a like take off, run up the middle guy. It's just not him. And that's what you need in 3rd and 3 situations. So you just need a guy that can get you 3-4 yards when everything's locked up. And I do like that. But for me, just get Carr off the field if that's the case. And maybe that's like a, hey, Derek, this isn't like your job. Maybe that's a please Derek situation. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't want to read too far into that, but I think you're going to see it a lot. I think you're going to see a lot of Mariota in this Bengals.
I think so too.
Especially with we understand Carr's record in the cold weather is not great. We understand that you're going to have to run the ball in that game, and there's going to be a lot of short yardage situations. And I like it in the red zone. To me, like take that pass option. I guarantee you will see somebody wide open on these Mariota plays because they've never thrown it. They have not thrown it once, right? Yeah. Did I miss it? Like
they threw it against the Colts. Right at the Colts, and
I guess so.
They threw that one against the Colts, and that wasn't a bad ball. I thought Renfrow
should have
it was pass interference, but it still it hit his hands.
Yeah.
I thought he should have caught it.
Sure.
It is what I'm saying. I was really mad they put that RPO on tape though. Like especially he didn't throw it. Yeah. Like because now it's on tape, and now the Bengals see it. They're like, okay, they might be ready for that. And now I was pissed. That he didn't throw that ball. But what else did I say? But I think. You're right. I think they got to put some passes into it too, especially at the goal line. They're all keying on him still.
Yeah.
And put a little drag to Waller or something inside of it. I don't know. Yeah. So just so he can throw the ball really quick. But They're kind of like labeling him and pigeonholing him a little bit, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree. He is a quarterback. This guy's a starter, like has been a starter. I mean, yeah, is he the best passer? Absolutely not. But he's a better passer than Taysom Hill. He's a better passer.
100%. Yeah.
Way better thrower of the football than Taysom
Yeah.
Hill. Probably reads defenses better than Taysom Hill. I mean, we're talking about a high level backup, probably a top 5 backup in the league, right? I would say, like, maybe, I don't know, but you know, like you know, to be fair, like just a guy that if you were to start him, you'd be like, okay, we might not lose, like, you know, like we might, you know, he might keep us in the game. I'm not a huge fan of him. I never was, but I, you know, to me, he's better than any backup the Raiders have had in a long time. So I can't.
100%.
Yeah, and I think the fact is, like, I like switching it up because Derek Carr does have his limitations in the red zone. So do the Raiders as play callers, but Mariota adds that element to kind of overshadow a bad play call where you can just run it in, you know, and you do get. I just want to see it because, you know, there was a time like, okay, after Brandon Staley has that hilarious go for it inside your own, you know, inside your own 20, you know, going for it on 4th down. The Raiders only got 3 points out of that. Now that coupled with what happened after that play, you could have put the game away, right? Like you could have essentially put the game away with the plays that happened after that, assuming that all happens. And they can't do that against the Bengals. They cannot be settling for 3. And I think if you have a really good Mariota play in the red zone, you will score. Like you will, if you have that play that just completely, you know, where, you know, the announcer will go like, Mariota takes that wide open back of the end zone. Like that's what I want to hear. Like, because it's there and it's in the punter. I want something so wide open that AJ Cole can make the pass. Like, you know, just so like it's there. I know it's there. Like, and just, you know, the coaches got to get in their bag on it. You know, and hey, I'll settle for Derek Carr having a few just outside the red zone touchdowns too. Like it doesn't matter, right? We're in the playoffs now. This whole, you know, does it work on a big scale thing that we always talk about? No, it doesn't matter. We need something that works in this game, right? This is something that needs to work in this game. And I guess my last question is, you know, I don't want to look too far in the future, but I want to get your thoughts on the coaching situation because if Rich Bisaccia wins a playoff game, how do you get rid of him, right? I mean, you can, but I mean, unless he does it, I've heard that from some people, and I don't really trust any, you know, like, so yeah, I don't have sources. There's people that say they have sources. I don't have sources. I get advice from people in DMs, the things they think are going to happen. And they're like, hey, it's a lot. I'm like, you know what? When I see the press conference, I'm going to believe it. That's all I'm going to say. I've seen the Josh McDaniel situation. There was always a chance that something doesn't happen, but you know, I've heard from some people that maybe Rich Bisaccia doesn't really want to be a head coach. Like, isn't like I want to be I don't want a 4-year deal as the head coach. Like I'll fill in. I'm down to be special teams. I'm 60 years old. I don't know how true that is, but at the end of the day, like if with all that's happened this year, he's the first interim coach to take over when he did to get a team to the playoffs. And if he wins a playoff game on the road, how do you get rid of him? Like you're
not going to get rid of him if you do that. And I don't know if you should.
No, right? Exactly. The team loves him if that's the case. Like,
the team would be pissed. Like, and you know, NFL players, they get over it. They get pissed. Right? They have the relationships. They get over it. Right.
Depends on replacement too.
And they got to win. Or they're going to be like, he's not rich. You know, they're going to be pissed. Right. And it ends morale. But I mean, the team loves him. But I will say, anybody who thinks that he doesn't want to be a head coach is crazy. When you get into coaching, that's your main goal is to be the head coach.
Right.
That is like everything that you're dreaming of. He's probably been a coach in like 30 years. This is his dream. He's here. He's got it. He's going to try to do everything he can to make it happen. What this season's so weird to me though, because what I really feel like what happened with this season is that when he became the coach, right? They were like, okay, all right, let's keep it going. Let's keep it moving. And then the Ruggs thing happened. And I think they were just expecting the season just to shut down. And I really feel like that was his approach, right?
Didn't Rich say something? Didn't Rich say like, you know, it is what it is.
We want to win, but we care about relationships more, right? Because and that's why I think he was hired too, to be in there, because he was like the mentor guy, or people like to talk to him about, you know, Maxx Crosby talks about, oh, he's like the dad figure, you know, he's the father figure guy for us or whatever, right? And I really feel like that was his job. And I feel like something happened with just the players. I feel like the players decided, or I don't know, maybe Derek Carr was like, what the hell are we doing? Like, I'm not trying to lose anymore. I don't know what happened in there. I don't know. Something happened with the players.
Yeah.
That they decided that we're not going to just kind of tank. And then they kind of took it. And I think Rich Bisaccia, once they started winning, he started getting more aggressive. Like he started going, like he went for it on the 4th and 2 in the first drive like last week, right?
They barely got that shit. Yeah,
they barely got, but they got it, right?
Yeah,
And against the Giants, he was in the same situation. He kicked the field goal.
Oh, I remember. Yeah.
Right. So like his mentality is changing with the team winning. So who knows if he does some better coaching, it might not bother me that much. I don't know about the staff though. I think he's got to get rid of some of these staff guys.
Absolutely. Yeah. You could sign me up for like for me. And this is a bad comparison because they're not a good team right now. Although I have on my other show, I did predict the Lions resurgence. I predicted it. So it's like in a time capsule. So 4 years from now, you discover my show. You're like, hey, this guy called the Lions comeback. I think Rich Bisaccia could be Dan Campbell in a sense where I like if you have a good offensive coordinator, because Rich is going to leave that all up to you. He's going to be like, yo, dude, your scheme, your system, your quarterback. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a motivator of your scheme. I will motivate players to accept your scheme defensively the same way. Like Dan Campbell, I'm sure he played NFL football. He knows about, X's and O's, I'm sure, but I doubt most of the time Dan Campbell's getting these jobs because he can make people play better than they are. And if you look at the Raiders, I'm going to say this right now. You could make a case that maybe the Steelers have a worse roster, but I don't know. To be honest, like I think they just have a worse quarterback. But like top to bottom, I think the Raiders have the worst roster in the playoffs.
I agree, man.
But I still feel like they could win. I still feel like they could win this game. Like there's I'm at like a 40% chance that they win this game. Like right now.
Yeah.
40. Yeah, I'd say.
And the thing with this game, bro, like which we're not talking about a lot is they have so much playoff experience. So I put that tweet out there. Like, and I was thinking about it, man, how fast, good KJ Wright and Hayward and all those guys in the Bengals, they ain't got nobody.
Nope.
This is their
and Burrow didn't play last week. So there's always the rest versus rust. I saw it happen with the Rams. McVay did that with the Rams, and they came out flat in a playoff game a couple years ago. They came out when I want to say when they lost to the Vikings? Falcons, yeah, horrible. Like, and they rested everybody the week before because they mowed through the division. Yeah, to me, and I'm not saying the Bengals I wouldn't have played Burrow last week either. But for a guy's first playoff game, you rest him the week before. We had a long season. I think there's a chance the Bengals come out flat in this game. And I think what the Raiders have done, and were the Raiders wins all that impressive at Denver or against Denver and Cleveland? Not really. Weren't that impressive, but they were wins, and they won 4 straight. They won 4 straight games going into this game. They're about as hot as you can be going into a playoff thing. They've won for about a month. In a month that they did not win in at all, like with Gruden or any of these people. They came out and they played. So a lot of playoff games end up just being like, what team is just hotter? You know what I mean? Like what team is hotter? And the Bengals are red hot. Don't get me wrong. Like when they've been playing, they beat Kansas City. They beat them. You could convince me that this Raider team just has a better spirit to them. You know what I mean? Like they have speed. I think a lot of I watched the last Bengals game. Jonathan Abram blew his zone coverage so bad on the Jamar Chase touchdown. I haven't been seeing that as much. I've been seeing tight window throws get in between that zone, but I've seen guys there. I've seen guys there in the scheme. I don't love the scheme. I don't love the Seattle cover 3 stuff, but like
me either.
You when guys are there and there's pressure, it can happen, right? Especially like you said with the time to throw. I don't know what the average time to throw is between Herbert and Burrow, but I guarantee you Herbert's way faster. It's not even faster, like way faster. So
Herbert's just a faster processor.
Absolutely. And that's why, as much as I kind of like think, okay, let's pump the brakes on Herbert. He's always going to be a bad matchup if the Raiders have this scheme, right? It's always going to be a bad matchup for the Raiders. Now with this going, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit. I'm a gambling man. The Raiders are now, the line's gone down to 5.5. So
it's gone down a little bit. Okay.
Money's coming our way a little bit. Which is crazy. But everybody watched Sunday Night Football. Everybody watched that game, right? So, and the Bengals haven't played in 2 weeks. Are you convinced that that they're going to win this game?
The rate, see, it's yesterday the guy in the Bengals podcast asked me my confidence from 1 to 10, and I said 8, and he was in shock. And I was thinking why I have confidence is because I was talking about the experience, right? Like the speed of playoff football is up
Oh yeah,
from regular NFL football, which is freaky fast.
Yeah.
Okay, so Joe Burrow, he came into the NFL having to get ready for that speed. I mean, even Derek Carr is not ready for it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why, like, I don't right. I don't know how, I even talked about it on that pod too. I think Derek Carr might come out a little amped up.
Sure.
And he's got to get used to how fast these guys are moving. But I don't know if those Bengals players have no experience either. So I don't know how fast they're going to move as well. But the Raiders defensive players, they're going to be moving. And Burrows might see some like flashes that he might not even see, because Yannick Ngakoue, he's balled in the playoffs. He's had some epic playoff games in Jacksonville.
Yeah. And he's hot right now. Right now he's hot again. He had that lull, and now he's back, which I do like.
Yeah, Casey Hayward's had some great playoff games back in 2014 with the Packers. A lot of these guys have had great playoff performances. I mean, even Corey Littleton, which he's not going to play, but he had he picked off Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. Yeah, he had a good postseason too. A lot of these guys are postseason veterans that the Raiders have on defense. So I'm more expecting the defense to come out and show out. I think they're going to show out and look better than they probably ever have looked all year, because I think they're going to be mentally ready. KJ Wright's probably going to have those goalie boys ready to go.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to probably, have them mentally prepared for what a playoff game is like. And, all those veterans they have over there, and just the speed they're going to be moving at, it's going to be a little fast for Burrow. He's going to have to get used to it. So, but I mean, the flip side is same things for Derek Carr in the offense, though. He's never seen it either. I mean, that's why you want him to have that one playoff game in 2016, because that's the importance of having that playoff experience.
Which they win if he does play that. I swear to God, they win that game, dude.
I mean, they probably don't buy if he doesn't get hurt. So
no, and that's true too. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we don't get. I forgot about the Matt McGloin Week 17.
Which I watched live in Denver. This was one of the worst days of my life.
It's so brutal. It's funny. I was at where Jason Campbell broke his collarbone. I was at that game. That one hurt my soul when you set the. I mean, you make the 2 first-round picks after that for Palmer. You set then all that happens because of that. Like it was insane, and that game was crazy because Jacoby Ford had a kick return for a touchdown, and Kevin Boss caught a Shane Leckler pass for a touchdown. That's how they won that game. It was just wild. But nonetheless, my quick thoughts before we get out of here. Me, I think one thing we haven't talked about here is I agree with you on defense. I think they're going to come out fast. This is one thing I love about this Raiders defense is it's just fast, and they can when they make mistakes, they can recover from them. Last year I thought they moved in quicksand, so it was a lot. Just adding speed on defense it just increases your margin, or decreases the margin for error, or increases the margin for error, I should say. But like you're able to make a mistake, recover. That's why it's better to draft good athletes, and all that. You're starting to see that, right, with the guys like Divine Diablo being put in there. Roderick Teamer, I think, is playing fantastic safety compared to Jonathan Abram. Like, that is such an upgrade. BD Williams called that, I believe, a long time ago on one of your guys' show.
Well, I disagree with the Teamer then, man. Teamer's playing pretty bad. I'm gonna let you know that he's not very good.
Oh, actually, I'm sorry. I just I watched that pass breakup on Cook, but okay. Nonetheless, I think he's better. I think he's better than Abram, because I think he'll just beat. I think he's just not going to be running around like head cut off, and then you get. I mean, Dallin Levitt. Every time he's in play, every time he's on the screen, and I makes a tackle, I'm just like, well, Dallin Levitt made a play.
Bad. He's not bad.
He's not the comically bad guy that I thought he was. He's not like just like how is this guy still on the team? Nonetheless, I think they have a more disciplined, just like Abram was the guy, like if you were creating a Swiss watch, and they'll be like, yeah, what if we put the Nickelodeon hand that went around insane, like on this beautiful, like, Rolex watch, and they're like, what, why is this here? They're like, look how cool it is. And it's like, no, like, it doesn't work with the watch. You're seeing more of that. So I think nonetheless, I think they're going to come out playing well on defense. Now on offense, I think what it comes down to is, okay, can the line protect? We know that's going to probably be hit and miss. Like we know that. Can they run block? It's been better, right? It's been better than it has at the beginning of the year. What Waller are we going to get? That's one thing I'm going to see. Do we get this like insane, like, I don't know what's going on with Darren Waller. Maybe he's just rusty after the injury. I have other thoughts that I won't say, but like, maybe things happen, and stuff. But that was just an uncharacteristically bad game from Waller last game. Like just running the wrong choice route that causes the intentional grounding. Right. Or I think that's what happened on that play. Like
that one is the one he just threw it up to Zay Jones and they got the PI.
No, I'm thinking the one where he got because remember Waller looked like he stopped in the middle of the field and Carr threw it away. Well, he was throwing it away. He was under pressure. Like Waller. I don't know if that was what he was supposed to do, what was supposed to happen, but Waller had he just run towards the sideline, that's not intentional grounding. You know, like
he stopped. He
yeah.
stopped. And Carr was pissed.
Then he dropped a ball that I thought he had an easy 10 yards on, you know, on that out route and stuff. So, and you know, hey, I love Darren Waller. He's great. And maybe he's rusty. He's never really been hurt with the Raiders. So he missed 5 weeks. And he looked a little gimpy and he didn't look great. And so if we can get good Darren Waller, who are the Bengals? I mean, are they going to just dedicate Jesse Bates to him? That's fine. Because then Jesse Bates can't come down and make that pick he did on Renfro on a couple years ago when they played each other. Then Jesse Bates can't make that play because it's Jesse Bates. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. So you that's what you saw against, you know, the Chargers, right? That was one of the good reasons of getting Waller back, is that Derwin James has a job now. He can't just rove around. He has to go. If Waller's on the field, I have to have my best guy on Waller, right? Yeah. And I think that's going to be something that opens up things. And if they can even get just a few big catches out of Darren Waller, and I'm not even talking about circus catches, I'm just talking about a 25-yard gain in the middle of the field. I think that opens up this offense. It opens up the run game. I think it allows Foster Moreau to be tight end number 2, which I like him a lot more there. And just if that happens, I think you got a ball game. And I think you're going to be saying like, what? You're going to be seeing these beat writers going, what's going on in Cincinnati right now?
Yeah. See, with Waller, I think Derwin James kind of shut down Waller last game.
Sure,
but he couldn't get up. He couldn't get up.
Took him away. Derwin James couldn't just rove to where the ball was. I got to shut down Darren Waller. That's my job.
Yeah. And he shut him down. And, you know, what's interesting about this Bengals matchup too is that Mike Hilton put Hunter Renfrow in jail last time. He would put him in prison. And that's going to be the matchup. And they feel comfortable just putting Mike Hilton on Hunter Renfrow because he's physical. So he's going to press him. He's not going to let him just get his little free releases, right? That they like to do. So that's why. So they have a more of a focus on Renfrow last time than they had on Waller, and Waller was able to eat against the Bengals, right? So so I don't know. They don't have a Derwin James over there to really stop him. No. So I still think that he's gonna be able to make some plays. But I think what they need to do with him, they need to put him in the Henry Ruggs role instead of Zay Jones, because that's what happened this game. And they put Zay Jones back in the Henry Ruggs role after Waller came back, and I was not happy about that at all. He's just not a deep threat. I'd rather Waller run deep routes.
Just on the outside, just flex him out, just literally play wide receiver. Not a bad. I mean,
let him run some post. Because even think about this: if he runs a post route, where's everybody going?
Yeah, 83, big old 6'6" guy. I mean,
there's like 3 guys. There's gonna be 3 guys trying.
Yeah, this big old guy that can run. Hopefully he's he's not just recovering from the last game. Hopefully he's able to increase his health from the last game, because I just didn't see the burst as much. He had one big play where he caught it over the middle, low ball, was nice, like that was cool. But I want to see that again. And at the end of the day, like, it comes down to just a couple plays. And that's why, the most flack I've gotten was during the Washington game, where I just said, look, this game is on Trevon Merrick at the end of the day.
That's what I said.
It's not like I hate Trevon Merrick. It's not that I don't think he's good at all. I think he's really good. But at the end of the day, when they throw the ball to you, you catch the ball. You have to catch the ball. Trevon Merrick knows that. It's not like he's saying like, what are you talking about? Do you know how hard it is to catch the ball? No, he's not going to say anything like that. He knows he has to catch the ball. But there's going to be 2 or 3 plays in this game that swing the game. There always is. There's you can, oh man, look, but a couple throws missed here, a couple plays. No. When they put the ball in harm's way, you got to make it hurt, right? Against the Colts, Darius Leonard dove and made an interception on Derek Carr. Was it a good throw? No, but it was a hell of a play. Like, you know what I'm saying? And you got to go out there and make a play that isn't even that tough, right? Like against the Colts, you tip the ball, a play that could have been an interception, or at very least an incomplete pass, you tip the ball to T.Y. Hilton. If that happens in this game,
they're losing. They're
going to lose. And it's going to be because of that. And everyone's going to come up with a different excuse of why it happened. But at the end of the day, they threw the ball to you and you didn't catch it. At the end of the day, if there's a drop in the end zone, if there's a missed throw, like if Carr mails a deep ball to Zay Jones, people say he stopped running, whatever, that's fine. But you got to hit the ball. You just have underthrow him because he can't fucking run to get the ball. It's fine. If these type of plays happen, you got to hit those 3 or 4 big plays. There's 3 or 4 big plays in every game. Sometimes it's only 1 at the end of the game, and the Raiders have to hit that. So all this analysis that we've been talking for an hour, we're almost done. But like at the end of the day, all that shit we said could be absolutely irrelevant, and it could just come down to 1 play. So Mike Williams could have ended the game. Mike Williams could have ended the game against the Raiders. Against Herbert. Herbert threw him the fade ball. It was a good ball. You didn't catch it.
Exactly. He tried to
That
catch it with
game's
one hand.
over if he catches that. I mean, it's a tough catch, but if he catches it, we lose. We're not in the playoffs. We're not.
Mhm.
I'm talking to you about mock drafts. I
know. I'm ready for the Super
I'm talking
Bowl.
about mock draft, Senior Bowl. Ooh, well, we think of Will Levis in round 2. Like, we're doing all this stuff, and I'm that's all that came down to at the end of the day. So I'm excited. I'm like really excited. This is like a new part of me that I've like, I wasn't this excited when I was, 11 years old and Rich Gannon was, the quarterback. Like, I was just a regular fan. Ooh, I hope the Raiders win. That was me. Like, I was just a regular fan. But now it's like, dude, being this plugged into the team, 2016, none of us were excited for that playoff game because you didn't have Carr. You didn't have that. You're like, Connor Cook, hopefully, right? And then no, like, I'm excited. We are a reasonably full strength team, except for Darius Philon and maybe a couple other. Like, you're not missing your top guys in this game, and they can go out and they can win this game. And I'm happy this is the matchup. This is as good of a matchup as you can get without winning your division. And let's go Raiders.
Yeah, that's why I'm excited, because the AFC does not have a juggernaut team.
No,
they don't have a juggernaut. And the Raiders, I mean, they beat some of these playoff teams, right? And that's why I'm kind of like, I mean, everybody's 10-7. It ain't like they snuck in at 8-9.
No, they're not.
They're 10-7, right? The Bengals are 10-7. That's why I don't understand like why they're +5. I'm like, they're 10-7 too.
I don't mind the line. It's a home game for them.
I mean, I guess, man, that's a big line, but
yeah.
But you know what I'm saying, like, if they beat this game, right? I mean, like, who do they go? They win this game, they probably go to Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If all the other underdog, and like and I know Tennessee has a great defensive line. They're gonna give our offense.
Go Pittsburgh, by the way. They can go to Tennessee. Yeah.
Right.
KC will be out. Go Pittsburgh.
They can go to Tennessee, but because but all these teams, like, none of them are just like this like juggernaut team, or you're like, oh my god, they're gonna kill us. Except the Chiefs.
Only the Chiefs, but they won't
play the Chiefs.
Yeah, they won't match up with them, I don't think, really, unless they were to go to the championship game, I would think, which at that point, you're in the AFC championship, you got to play the best team. I mean, it is what it is. But like, I agree with you. I think it's wide open. At the beginning of that Chargers game last week, I was like, dude, if we just go to the playoffs, that's a Super Bowl to me. But it's funny how somebody who's never really seen playoff teams would say something like that, because now I'm like, no, let's win this game. We got to go win this game. Like,
I was like, let's go win, bro.
Like, let's go win. Because I was like, man, we got in. That's all good. We beat the Chargers, like, kept the Chargers out of the playoffs. Like, that rocks. I love it. That's like, after all that's happened, it's a successful season. I'm like, no, man, if you go win a playoff game, and a lot of fans don't want, fans want to win the game. I don't believe when they say this anyways, but like, they'll be like, oh, that means Versace stays, Carr stays, whatever. You want a playoff game. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course they stay. What do you trade them? You know what I'm saying? Like, you get rid of them, and then you plug in somebody else to a team that like probably got emotionally attached to their leader during all this time. Because last thing I'll say about Derek Carr is there's no way he didn't not lead this team back to. I'm talking about like as a leader of a team. I'm not talking about what his play. I'm talking about like he is the veteran on this team. Now, is he a winning veteran? Absolutely not. But there's no way during all this turmoil, you're losing wide receivers, you're losing your coach and stuff. There's one constant on this team, and he's been here for the constant of the last 8 years of losing, but he's also here on this team. He was the starting quarterback for every game, and I'm sure he led this team. And I if you ask anybody on that team, they're probably going to say like, yeah, I mean, DC kept us in it. So I think if we can get the DC Joe Flacco run, I'm speaking it into existence. And if we could just create turnovers the way that Ravens team, the Ravens were 8-8 that year when they went to the playoffs. Or 9-7. They were 8-8 or 9-7. It wasn't a better record than the Raiders. Is all I'm saying.
It wasn't.
They weren't that good. And I remember, they were playing a tough Niner team, and I'm like, damn, Niners are gonna walk into the damn Super Bowl. Like, they're just gonna walk into a Super Bowl win. And I was like, damn, no, like you just certain teams have that look about them. And I'm not saying the Raiders have that, but if they come out and beat Cincinnati, they have that look about them.
Oh, if they beat Cincinnati, bro, man,
all bets are off. All bets are off. And that line is going down to 4.5 at least before the game. I'm calling that because I think there's no way it's not going to go back up to 6. I don't think so. I bet the Bengals, and that my strategy is to pay for a Bengals loss. That's how you bet. If you bet against your team, I did it with Saban. I wanted Saban to lose, so I bet Alabama money line. So I basically just bet a few dollars for Saban to lose the game. That's all it is. You're paying for a loss, right?
I like that strategy. I like that strategy.
I took the Bengals. I took them to cover, so it is what it is. They could still win by 3, but like it would, and I'd lose the bet and the game, but it's happened. And but at the end of the day, I think the Raiders are going to come out and surprise a lot of people in this game. Maybe when it comes down to a close game, you got to make those couple plays, but I think we got this, man. I think this is going to be a really good one. So Marcus, Tape Don't Lie, SB Nation. You were the first guest on any podcast I've ever done, I believe. Ever. And so here we are, almost 2 years later, and we're a winning team now. That's good. That's good. And I think we're going to have a fun, interesting offseason that hopefully doesn't get started for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, man.
All eyes are going to be on the Raiders. They're the first game on Saturday, 1:30 my time over there. And it's wild, man. I cannot believe they're in after all this. So
I can't believe they're here either. That's why, like, I feel like something weird's happening.
Yeah. It's like, maybe they come out flat and I just look like a dummy, but like at the end of the day, I still wouldn't consider it a bad season at that point.
Yeah.
Like it's insane. They're one of those teams. Like I guarantee you the coaches on the Bengals staff are like, yo, like there's something about this guy. Cause they know what it's like to try to rally a team back from tough injuries. Zach Taylor lost Joe Burrow last year. Right. And they took a nosedive. Right. And like, he's got to understand, like, this is a team that's motivated and ready to play, and they are playing probably better than their talent, which is very scary when it comes down to a 1-game situation. When a team is outplaying their talent, you better come with it. So
exactly.
All right, Marcus, everybody subscribe to Tape Don't Lie. If you listen to my show and his show, you get the emotional side from me. You guys get the technical aspects, the film aspects from them. I think we'd have you covered if you subscribe to both these channels. Follow him on Twitter at @TheMarkJohnNFL and follow me on Twitter at Glen Rockney. Marcus, thanks again, man.
No problem, B.
All right.